We are on the floor today because I have all of these unopened old subscription boxes, and we're going to pick one today. What's it gonna be? This one. We're doing that one. Sketchbox Special Release Water Media. Here we go. I stuck a note in this one so I would know exactly how old this was. It was from September of 2018 and I paid $99, no tax, no shipping on it. Let's see what's inside. Oh my gosh, jam-packed full of stuff. And I think I did open this at the time, like when I first got it and played with it, but then I put it all back like it was brand new and then forgot about it for almost 2 years. So these are the Sketchbox signature color brushes. Looks like we have a blue, yellow, black, red, purple. Wow, a lot of them. What is that color? Turquoise, maybe? What would you guys call it? A little Gouache mini water brush by Pentel Arts. Gouache, Naples yellow and scarlet. This is like actual gouache. Gouache, not acro gouache. Yay. Mars Lumograph Black 8B. Ah, PBO drawing gum. I would have had to buy mine if I had opened this box, actually. Lesson learned, right? Okay, let's see what else. Kuretake Gansai Tambi Watercolors. I keep seeing people use these, and here they are. Yep, I have been in this box. That is almost opened the wrong way. Some kind of pen in a different language. I am sure it's awesome. It is black and fine. Okay. Oh boy. Viviva Colorsheets. I don't know if I like these, but I might love them. I think they're actually really good color, but I think they're just hard to use. So yeah, it looks like I have little blotches on them, so I probably did try and test them. What else is in here? A very nice Sketchbox sketchbook. Looks like it had this wrapper on it. I really have not looked at this since I got it, so this is like all new again to me. 112 pages, 160 GSM, ultra thick paper, foil stamped cloth cover. Very nice. Yeah, so I have tried a few things out. It looks like all of the colors in these color brush pens is the thing that I have tried. Oh, and maybe the gouache here, and this, probably this. It's probably all there is, I don't know. Oh, maybe the Viviva Colorsheets as well. Here's just another look at everything that came in the box. Quite a spread. I am starting with these Viviva Colorsheets, and I know that they have this little place right here for a swatch, so I'm going to do that. And I've just picked out my Royal Aquilon 2250 round size 6 brush. We need a paper towel and we should be set, or maybe 2 or 3 paper towels. These are my bamboo paper towels here. They are wash out and reusable and all that good stuff. I use them all the time, and I sure don't get very far before I have to pause and tell you guys a few things that I noticed about them. These are pretty wet, and we're supposed to flip the page to be able to use other colors, and that's why they started including this sheet here, because they didn't have that at first. And so at least in this version, even though it's a couple years old almost, we have that wax paper, I guess, or parchment paper, but still pretty wet swatch, so I don't know. I may let it sit for a second and then flip the page, but I could see that if you were using your color and you had quite a bit of water on that, it might be a little frustrating knowing that you're flipping the page and it's going to get all over everything. Oh, look, I touched the vermilion there and it's all over my fingers. Look at that. Okay, so I just dipped my hand in the water bowl and now it's even worse. So I'm going to go over to the sink instead. I just washed my hands with Dawn dish soap and wiped it off with a microfiber cloth by Norwex, and they're still orange. So yeah, beware of that and try not to touch the squares, apparently. Let's move on. The Viviva Colorsheets are a concentrated dye affixed with almost no binder to this paper. That's why they're so incredibly vibrant and why they pack such a big punch in a small area. While we're on the subject of watercolor, let's do these. Oh look, I did a bunch of stuff in this. Cool. So these must be the swatches for that. By the way, the paint is sitting on the top of it. I bet you that this is Canson XL paper. Now look how shiny some of this part is. Interesting. Well, let's maybe re-swatch these on good paper like Arches and then compare the two. And what a big difference the right kind of paper makes. So you can see I just laid out my swatches like I do normally to match the way they are laid out in the pan. And I had really a lot of fun with this because This paint re-wets super easily, and it went on the Arches paper so beautifully. It was just really a pleasure. So I think I know some of these colors. I don't have it in front of me. I am actually out of town, but there's the cadmium red, the, maybe I don't know the colors. The bright green is their sap green. This one coming down now is the Viridian. Maybe I have those two backwards. Anyway, ultramarine blue followed by indigo across from it right there. And I don't know what that, oh, that's supposed to be the burnt sienna. Looks really bright in this, and white. These are dry, and I just want to show you up close and personal the difference here. The top is the Canson XL paper, and the bottom is Arches. So if you did these swatches on Canson XL to start with, like look at the blue especially, you would be like, I don't know about these watercolors. They may not be what I'm looking for. You know, just all this separation that you get. And Arches is just smooth the whole way through. Okay, so that's one half of the colors. Let's look at the other half here. Look at the, I assume it's alizarin crimson. I'm not really sure of the colors yet. I haven't looked that up to see if they're in English. But look at that. It didn't like even stay together on the Canson paper. The opacity of the yellow on the Canson XL is pretty apparent, whereas it doesn't hardly even show up on the Arches. So opacity could be something that's quite different between these two papers as well. And look at the difference here in this Viridian. I assume it's Viridian. So I do have a color buildup here on Arches. You see that? But complete separation on the Canson XL. Indigo, I assume it's indigo. Same thing, a little bit of a color buildup where I have a lot of pigment on Arches. And the indigo doesn't look bad on the Canson XL, although in the camera it looks even worse. I guess if you get up close, it kind of is pretty bad. Lots of separation in there. And the burnt sienna, at least I assume that's the color. It's all pretty obvious there. Hey, the white on the Canson XL has a really shiny sheen here. It's almost like you've painted something on it that is ceramic right there. It's just a really shiny coat of something right there. And that is not at all apparent in the Arches paper. I briefly showed this little strip when I first opened these. And this was some playing that I did, and this is also on Canson XL paper. So if you were playing yourself and you saw this, especially like this, and you see that sheen on that, and there, and on the green, and what a mess this is, you'd be like, I don't know if I want to use these paints because it's going to be hard to control them. However, I think we have a really good chance of having a lot of fun with these on some nice paper. So I did figure out that these are the Gansai Tambi and these are the Viviva Colorsheets. So this is not watercolor paper, at least nothing on the packaging says that. And they actually look better on this paper than they do on the Canson XL. They're just more washed out is all. So I think we could use them on this paper pretty easily. Just realize that they're going to be a very washed out version. For example, if I compare these two indigos, big difference there, along with all of them really. So they still look decent though. At least they're intact and whole and not all separated and all that jazz. I think we have a good chance of using them with some fun. I got all of these out of their package. They are a water-based ink that is blendable. However, I have been sitting here staring at these because I don't really know how to use them. I have all these little scraps of Arches paper here and figure we will just give it a try. So you can see that the ink is already squeezed out from when I did that previously a couple of years ago. So let's see how good it is after a couple of years because I have not re-squeezed this at all. All right, 2 years later, almost. Oh, wow. I'm liking that. Now, so we don't suck water up in there, let's grab a brush. Get some water and come down, up. Oh, cool. Look at that effect. You guys are probably like, I've seen these already. Hurry up already, but I haven't used them. Just wanted to see if this pen was waterproof, so I stuck some down in a line on the back of this Arches paper. We'll grab a wet brush. Maybe a wetter brush. My cat's rocking the rocking chair in the background. So yeah, I would say definitely a good bit of water resistance You can see that it is pulling some of the ink up there, but I actually have scrubbed on that fairly hard. Yeah, quick is fine. Just don't repeatedly go over the top of it. Good to know. So it's been at least an hour and a half, probably, since I left this. You can see, look at that. So that just came out thick, and it is just not wanting to dry. It was too much. Now I'm decorated. There's my fingerprint. To do something with all of these supplies, because there's so many, I didn't really want to draw a new drawing. I wasn't really sure that I could take the time to do that. So I pulled out my Inktober sketchbook, and there was this one that I really liked. I thought I could do a lot of different colors in this one and this one from 2019. So this is 2018, this is 2019, and what I did is I took them over to my copy machine and I made a copy. Now this is on Bristol paper, and I have not tested these supplies on Bristol paper yet, but you can see the copy machine. It's a laser jet. It doesn't really work all that well with Bristol paper, but I think that can be covered up just fine. So that's Bristol, and then I already knew my copy machine wouldn't print on Arches watercolor paper. I've tried it in the past. So I pulled out the fluid watercolor paper that I got in the Buy It, Try It video. I'll link that up there. And it also didn't work all that well. You can see there's ghosting of the image. So I will just cut this into basically a 6x8. And I think without all of that, this can just look like more foliage. So I think it'll work out okay. And I just did some quick testing on the scraps of paper that I cut off from each of those copies, just to see what would happen. First things first, on this one, you saw that when I made the copy, this little cacti was cut off, or cactus, I guess it's only singular. So we're going to use this pin that came with this, which is semi-water resistant, right? And see if we can't finish it. And it may be a completely different color. Could be a complete mess, but you know, we'll find out. So I used both this pen and the pencil that came in the box as well. But then I didn't like it, so I tried to erase it. Oh, cool. Cool. Okay, so erasing this, while it's still relatively fresh, lightens it up, which is great. I think that will do. So I want to do another little cactus over here, just to make something else over here being off the edge. So we're going to draw a little cactus. That's great. I like that a lot. All right, that's not bad for a copy on a printer that is not happy pulling thick paper through it. Go ahead and sharpen up the lines on this little bush here. Since that was part of the smeared section of printing, we will do that just to make it kind of match the rest of the drawing. And one thing that I kind of wish I would have done for this when I made the copy of it is, I don't mind the signature so much, but the Inktober Day 25 thing I think would have been kind of nice to have, well, not there. So I should have covered that with some paper. I had a brilliant master plan, so I took my ruler and made a horizon line, and then out with the coloring brush pens. Those are really fun to use, by the way. So real quick, right here, I must have touched the paper because these brush pens are not adhering to it very well. So it must be the oils from my fingers. So just a little side note on that, and we will continue. I thought initially I'd have a lot of trouble with these brush pens on this Bristol paper, but oh no, it was super fun. Quick update here, working on Bristol paper with these color brush pens is actually really enjoyable. There's nothing negative about it at this point. Liking this so far. And because I needed a bigger variety of colors, out came the Kuretake Gansai Tambi Watercolors. I probably said that all wrong, but that's okay. And this is all just yellow ochre and just different dilutions of yellow ochre. So one thing that's really cool about painting on Bristol paper with regular watercolors, because I've never done that before, is that the watercolor can just be reworked. At least this particular watercolor brand can. And so if you have something you didn't like or you want to reblend, it's really easy to go and just like mess it back up, which is really cool. So I know Mary Doodles often paints with watercolor on Bristol paper, and that's where I got the idea in the first place, and I thought Bristol paper might go through my printer better. I like it. It's different, it's interesting, and I suggest you give it a try because it's a whole different way of painting, and I'm enjoying it. I keep using the watercolors interchangeably with the brush pens, and then I even get out the Viviva Colorsheets for a little bit more color variety. I wanted a little bit different greens, golds, greens, kind of ochres is what I was looking for maybe. But I found, I don't know, lots of fun choices and just splashed them on wherever I wanted them. The Viviva Colorsheets are really fun to work with, not like having them in that flip book format, but they're just nice paints. All right, finished for the moment. Some dry brushing effects that I like. I was pleasantly surprised about working on this paper. I thought that it would be annoying and frustrating, but it was not. It was fun. And a couple of cool side effects when I accidentally dropped water that I didn't notice that I did. It kind of looks like moons, stars kind of thing, so kind of wondering if I should drop more. Maybe later. That's that for that one. Let's move on to the next one. For this one, I just started right out with the Viviva Colorsheets because they had the turquoises and purples and all of that I knew I would want and need for this. It's a rusty truck. Gotta make it look rusty and make it colorful and interesting. And it's also surrounded by beautiful flowers and just has a lot of really interesting things going on. So it's fun to take out the brush pens, and that's the indigo one that is just spilling out everywhere. That's why I have to use a brush with that. Anyway, use all my different colors, all my different supplies. The only thing I ended up not using was the PBO drawing gum, but you've seen me use that in other videos. So if you're new here, check out my old videos, older than today's videos anyway, and you'll see me using that quite a bit. It's kind of a staple in my painting toolbox. So by the way, if you have a drawing that you've already done, I mean, it's your drawing, why not copy it and use it to paint? Because this was really fun. It was fun, it was relaxing, it was not stressful, and I super enjoyed the entire session of painting today. And it was hours and hours worth. Here you can see I brought out the gouache and stuck that in a few places just so that I would use all the supplies. Real quick, I went to use this again, and this has come unscrewed partially, so watch out for that. I'm gonna screw that back in. Big dog laying down. So yeah, I didn't expect that to come unscrewed just randomly, but definitely wouldn't want that to come apart because it would ruin your artwork and create a huge mess. And I already make enough messes on my own. I don't need help making messes. And what an awesome box of supplies. You guys, if you have supplies in your house you're not using, get them out, play with them, use them. You will have so much fun. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate your time. Thank you to all my existing subscribers. If you're new here, check out the videos on my channel. If you like what you see, hit the subscribe button and all notifications. I will see you guys in the next video. Have a great week. End. I put the box on it. Crud. There, now you never know. The swatches here, I just dumped out all the paint in the Kuretake Gansai Tambi bin. So that's fun. It's a good thing we did the swatches so we know where they belong. Okay. So one thing that is really... Okay, well, let's try that again too because... Talking is hard. I guess it's ink. Yes, water-based ink. I said that. Okay.